Train the muscles, not the joints.
Welcome back to Natural Gland Bodybuilding. Mountain. And today I want to talk to you about something that every natural bodybuilder knows. Every advanced natural bodybuilder does know this. And that is something about technique when it comes down to doing certain exercises. And what a lot of people think, or what a lot of people assume, is that there's only one way to do an exercise. And if they do it the proper way, then it does everything that it needs to do in order for the body to adapt. But the truth is that not only is each person slightly different and they have different limb lengths, different muscular attachments, like the tendon attachments are at different places for each individual person. Their structure and their body structure is different. So certain techniques will work a certain way on them and address certain muscles, and it might be quite different for another person, or at least there's a variation in what muscles are stimulated as effectively. So in order for you to evolve as a natural bodybuilder, you need to experiment with your exercises and do them in different ways to see where you feel the tension and what is giving you the best result. Now, the most important part about this is that when you do an exercise a certain way and it causes joint pain or issues, such as chronic inflammation or soreness right in the tendons or right in the bones, right? That's not what you want. You want to have stimulation of the muscles, but you do not want to have injuries. So this is one of the reasons why it's important for you to experiment with different techniques to find out which one is right for you. And that's the technique that stimulates the muscle as much as possible. And yes, it also does put stress on the joints. So the joints are also adapting and getting stronger, because that's the other thing I have people say all the time. They think that if you're not murdering the joints, that somehow the joints aren't getting stronger. No, you don't have to injure yourself in order to get stronger joints. You can get stronger joints just from training through the ideal ranges of motion that do not cause joint disturbances. So what do I mean by changing up technique from time to time? Well, you see me do this with bench pressing all the time. Sometimes you'll see me touch my chest with the bar when I bench press. Sometimes you'll see me an inch or an inch and a half or 2 inches above my chest when I bench, so I don't come as far down, but I bring the muscles right to failure and I challenge them. Sometimes I'll go a bit deeper in the squat. Sometimes I'll go a bit shallower in the squat. It's a matter of where do I feel those tensions that day. So this is the thing I want to really share with you. This is the epitome of what I'm trying to say, is that your technique will be different some days than others, because the body sometimes goes through a metamorphosis of some sort, or sometimes it has excessively tight or sensitive areas, and you want to respond to that in the moment rather than just forcing yourself through it and injuring yourself. So I see this all the time with people that do ass to the grass squats. Some guys, they do the ass to the grass squat and it looks like a perfect squat and it looks like probably the most perfect thing for them. You know, they're getting all leg stimulation and they're not getting any issues. But I see other guys do ass to the grass squats and they are bending over like crazy and then their back is rounding and they're getting a lot of the butt wink type of stuff going on. And in that case, they're not necessarily paying attention to where those tensions are playing out. They're just focused on doing a technique a certain way by going all the way down and all the way up, but they're not looking at how is this tension affecting my body. So for them, if they're actually listening, they would go down as far as they can while they're feeling the tensions in the legs, but at the same time keeping proper lower back form. And then when they can no longer maintain that lower back form, or they start to notice that the lower back is taking the brunt of the muscular tension, then they would return to the concentric part of the lift and start lifting the weight. And that would be what their rep looks like. But what makes things even more complicated is that some days you might have, say, tight hamstrings or some sort of issue with your lower back that you didn't realize because of you doing something in a sport, or, something happening outside of the gym that you weren't aware of, or say you slept funny, right? And then you're doing the exercise and you just have this standard template in your head about what is the right way to do the exercise, instead of listening to the body and seeing what is the body allowing me to do as well. Where are those tensions playing out? That's the most important thing for you to do, because it's okay to vary up the techniques. It's okay to have shallower ranges of motion and then longer ranges of motion as it feels right for you on that day. But to push through it can cause more devastation than help you get more muscles. So yeah, all the great powerlifters, all the great bodybuilders, they all used partial ranges of motion and then some fuller ranges of motion, and you can see them playing around with these ranges of motion all the time. Sometimes it's because that's what felt right that day, and other times it's because of variation of these different tensions and different ranges of motion assists with more results. So in my opinion, that's a win-win situation. Sometimes you can get better results from doing a partial range of motion, and sometimes you can get better results from doing a little bit of a fuller range of motion. But always, always, always listen to the body first to make sure that whatever it is you're doing, you're not putting so much stress on an area that cannot handle it, right? You don't want to be irritating the joints or tearing something off the bone in order to do a proper technique. So my main point of this is that technique is not quite so solid. Technique is not a solid objective thing. Technique can change even in the same individual from workout to workout, depending on what the body is saying and what the body is responding to in that day. So my message to you is to stay aware first and foremost, and do the exercises in the way that feels right for that day, and trust in that process instead of just pushing through and yanking your joints out of place or tweaking the tendons and so forth. Mountain. So yeah, I hope this helps you out in your training. Thanks a lot for watching. If you need to get a hold of me, just go to naturalglandbodybuilding.com, and thanks to the page supporters, and take care for now.